While I was thinking about Benedict Spinoza, the first philosopher to lay the foundations of secularism, I realized that it has aspects in line with the YouTuber who has been on the radar in Turkey for the last week or two, who was wanted for arrest for explaining the religion to the religious people. Spinoza would probably be someone who wishes to be reincarnated in order to share his thoughts and the freedom of the 21st century, but who will be sentenced to prison because he was spawned in a country like Turkey, as I see. He's best known not only for the philosophy he presented, but also for the life he lived in pursuit of it. He argued that the Torah was not written by the prophet Moses, but by a commentator named Erza. His reasoning was that the book is a third-person account of a conversation between God and Moses. Not only that, but the book also includes the time before Moses. If Moses wrote the book, how can it be narrated before and after the birth of Moses? He also criticized the anthropomorphic presentation of God, as if he was a person who spoke to Moses. Furthermore, he argued that prophets were advanced in terms of imagination, but inferior to philosophers in terms of intellect, which I think was quite offensive at the time. But he was right, because imagine Abraham the prophet at the age of 100 having intercourse with his 90-year-old wife, and a child is born. No way. In fact, even this is something that is near to possible compared to other imaginary things. For example, how could Abraham have lived for 900 years? Today, such equivalent claims would not get you in trouble if you don't live in a country like Turkey. But at the time, such a claim led to Spinoza's excommunication. He was even assassinated and saved by his coat. Just as it was lucky for us that Dostoevsky got out of Gogol's overcoat, it was lucky for us that Spinoza survived the stab wound thanks to his coat. Spinoza analyzes the rationalistic distortion of the messages in the Torah by a philosopher named Maimonides. If we take an example from the Quran, the passage cut off the hand of the thief should, according to Maimonides, be taken metaphorically as meaning cut off the hand of the thief from theft. But, according to Spinoza, if there is something contradictory in Scripture, it is a kind of apostasy, falsification, to reappropriate it according to reason. For example, to reappropriate the statement that the Prophet Muhammad had intercourse with a 6-year child in accordance with reason is apostasy. It is distortion. In fact, Spinoza's point in this argument is that moving forward in a choice between reason and Scripture will lead us, in general, either to change reason or to change Scripture. According to Spinoza, religion is only for our obedience, and although he does not deny the human need for religion, according to him, reason is superior to religion because religion authorizes obedience, whereas reason liberates. In his Ethics, Spinoza argues that there are two fundamental characteristics of human beings, conatus and desire. Conatus is the effort you make to survive. Desire is the desire to be good, that is, to be free and happy. But desires are individual and selfish. Therefore, we cannot sustain a society on the basis of an individual's desire, which would contradict another's. We need reason to control desires. He includes many other things in his ontology, like power from the union of reason and emotion. And in his terms, there's two major power concepts. One is the potentia, as a relationship to the other as a whole in harmony, like becoming one with God. He calls the existence shaped according to this power potentia agendi. That is, it is in competition, acts, can resist fearlessly, and the power to take it from human hands is defined as potestas, which we can identify with the state, like the power of sovereignty delegated to a totalitarian rule by the social contract, like the power of Leviathan. With that being said, according to Spinoza, individuality is never stoppable, indestructible, and even if you lose everything you have, even if you lose your right, or even if your right is bestowed by someone, it is nothing more than something that you condition yourself in an imaginative process. It does not have a positive or negative effect on your potentia agenda. We have no real connection with law except in jurisprudence, that is, in theory. For example, disrespecting an imaginative prophet is an imaginative position. It is the position of a religious power that adds imaginative elements to its axis. It is not even political. It is not a legal position. The human effort to live is the necessity of living, and as long as this effort exists, the state of individuality cannot be prevented. For Spinoza, even an issue like human rights is absurd in the sense that it is an issue because this right is inherent in human nature. In history, perhaps few philosophers have been slandered as much as Spinoza. He has been claimed to be an atheist, materialist, determinist, etc., and in modern times, his being a panentheist has been confused with pantheism. While the understanding of pantheism is limited to God, the Creator being immanent with his creation and God not being superior to the universe with which he is identified, the understanding of pantheism is an understanding of the universe as the manifestation of God, the Creator. Spinoza is far away from being an atheist. You can claim that he is an atheist because of his unorthodox views, but by the same logic, as Ricky Gervais said, you don't believe in 2,999 gods. I don't believe in one more. We are all atheists. He is not materialist too. The vulgar materialist's reduction of everything to neurochemical processes is also found in Spinoza, but Spinoza explains it like a mode of substance be conceived under the attribute of thought, and then called neurochemical process. And the fundamental of his metaphysics is not material, is God. And finally, about the determinism part, if freedom cannot change a determined condition, it is not freedom. Determinism is a situational condition. I mean, this is what Spinoza also believed. I guess it is more difficult to say what a person is not than what a person is, so I'll end this topic here. I don't have the determination to fit Spinoza's thoughts into a YouTube video anyway.